Hello, we are here today with Solutions 101 for AP Chemistry at Cedar Valley High School. And what we're talking about today is just an introduction to solutions. And your assignment for this is going to be the AP Solutions 1 worksheet. And what we're going to start with are just some really general definitions of about solutions and the components of a solution. So we're going to start with a picture because I like pictures. And so let's say that we have a beaker, and in that beaker there is sodium chloride dissolved in water. Okay, so that's just basic salt water. And so roaming around in the water, we would have sodium and chloride ions in addition to the water. So the mixture of the sodium chloride and the water we would call a solution. So just a really general definition for a solution is a homogeneous mixture containing a solute, which is the substance that gets dissolved. So I'm going to call that the dissolvee, and a solvent, and the solvent is the dissolver. Okay, so in this case, in our example, from above, the solute is NaCl, and the solvent, you probably figured out, is water, liquid. And there are a lot of different situations with solutions. The ones that we are going to focus on are water-based and contain some ionic substances, and some will be non-ionic substances, so covalent substances. The examples that I'm going to give today are mostly ionic substances. So that's solution, general definition, and then the solute and the solvent sort of idea there. And let's see, what else do we want to talk about? I'm going to lead here, not lead, but I'm going to tell a really short personal story. And that personal story is that when I was a kid, my brother and I used to love to eat cereal, my older brother and I. And my mom would never buy us the sugary kind of cereal. She always would buy us, Cheerios or Rice Chex or something. And so every morning, we would eat our cereal and we'd put sugar on it. And my brother loved to put sugar on his cereal, and he put so much sugar on it that at the bottom of the cereal bowl there would always be that sludge of sugar at the bottom. And but the milk had sugar in it, like it had dissolved in there. So what my brother had made was called a saturated solution, and no more sugar could dissolve into the milk for his cereal because he put so much in there. It was saturated. So we want to contemplate this idea of saturation. A saturated solution contains the maximum amount of solute dissolved in the solvent. And the way that you can tell, the way you can tell that something is saturated is you have leftover solid at the bottom of the liquid phase in this solution. So if I drew a picture, another picture, let's say I have a solution, and out here is our water, and at the bottom we have sodium chloride solid. If there's sodium chloride solid at the bottom here, then we would know that this water out here has so many sodiums and chlorides in it that it can't hold anymore. It's like it's full. So if we have a solid sodium chloride at the bottom and the sodium chloride out in the solution, so if the solid exists at the bottom, then the solution is saturated. And different solutes, which is the sodium chloride in this example, different solutes have different levels where they get saturated. So water can hold more of some substances than it can of others. And so what we look at with that is this concept of solubility. And solubility is just how well a substance, or solute in this case, dissolves in a given solvent. So things can be soluble or insoluble, and we will get more specific with solubilities when we get to equilibrium, but for right now we are going to turn everything as either soluble or insoluble. So a couple things just before we finish. So what you want to remember is that solubility is described in the rules on page 118 in your textbook, and that's the solubility of ionic substances. And then you can also look at solubility with relation to temperature in a solubility chart. And a solubility chart just shows something's solubility with relation to temperature. For solids, it generally goes up as you increase the temperature. And for gases, the solubility of gases tends to go down with temperature. And we'll get more to that as we go with solutions. So that is the end of part 1. Thank you.